get it, Kevin.
All right, at this time, I'd like to call the meeting to order. If everyone would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Walsh.
Here.
Commissioner Doherty.
Here.
Commissioner Strzok.
Here.
Commissioner Meyer.
Here.
Commissioner Sabota.
Here. Excellent, thank you. If anyone here from the gallery would like to speak on a non-agenda item, please step up to the podium. Seeing no movement, we will close out item number 4 on the agenda. Number 5, consideration of the approval of the February 14th regular meeting minutes. If commissioners have no changes or revisions, I'd be looking for a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Mr. Sabota, do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Doherty. Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Walsh.
Yes.
Commissioner Doherty.
Yes.
Commissioner Strzok.
Yes.
Commissioner Meyer.
Abstain.
Commissioner Sabota.
Yes.
Excellent. Moving on to item number 6, file number Z924. Conditional use permit to allow an assembly use in an educational institution. Today we received notice from the petitioner that they would be withdrawing that petition. I would read for the record the email that was sent from the petitioner. Doug, thank you for taking the time to speak with me today. As discussed, District 15 will be withdrawing our application for the planned work at the Landmark School location at 3614 Waukegan Road in McHenry. I appreciate all of the effort on behalf of your office thus far and look forward to working with you again in the future. Please let me know if you have any questions or need any additional information. Thank you, Nicole Satera, Director of Facilities for District 15. So item number 6 on the agenda is now canceled. This time I'd like to open file Z925. The applicant is Viking Enterprises LLC, located at 3109 Christopher Court in Johnsburg. The requested action is a conditional use permit to allow outdoor storage of vehicles, and the location of the subject property is 4910 West Elm Street here in McHenry. Gentlemen, please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name and address for the record.
I'm Martin Robb, 3109 Christopher Court, Johnsburg, Illinois.
Dennis Norton, 3203 Christopher Court, Johnsburg, Illinois.
Excellent, thank you. I do have the publication notice from the Northwest Herald, the return receipts, and also a signed affidavit from the petitioner. Gentlemen, please tell us why you're here today.
I recently purchased the property at 4910 West Elm for 2 reasons. Number 1, I own McHenry Limousine, looking for a building to house my vehicles, and in the process, Rex Towing Rex Auto Body and Rex Towing were selling. Myself and Denny Norton, my business partner, decided we would buy the tow trucks and start a towing company again, working on a facility. What we need approved is for 2 reasons. Number 1, I have vehicles for the limousine company that are parked at that address. And number 2, we have vehicles that are being towed in from either DUIs or accidents or whatever, because we're contracted with numerous police departments, one of which being City of McHenry. And these vehicles, many of which will sit for longer than 24 hours. So we need to have the okay to do so.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Doug, please give us a report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The request before you is a conditional use permit to allow the outdoor storage of vehicles in conjunction with the towing and limousine businesses. The applicant, as stated, has a towing operation as well as a body shop and a limousine business. The property was approved for outside storage and a an ordinance was approved. It is attached to the staff report. However, the ordinance does say that the vehicles cannot be stored for more than 23 hours a day. Can't be, so it's kind of a technicality. Outside storage is overnight, anything 24 hours or more. So the applicant is essentially coming into compliance and getting a conditional use permit for outside storage. So if they bring a car in, it's stored overnight, more than 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours, what have you, they're in compliance. The applicant, as he had stated, they tow for the city police department, and they have a very strict towing contract, and they have to comply with all aspects of the ordinance, and it really is all aspects of the ordinance. Outside storage is a conditional use in the C5 zoning district. Property is zoned C5. The area is behind the fence area to the west of the building. The applicant does put some of the vehicles inside, I think, but obviously they have a lot of vehicles, so not all the vehicles can be inside. So some of the vehicles are outside. The place is well maintained, if you've ever been by there. There's an existing fence and the building's in good shape. So staff's recommending approval of the conditional use permit to allow the outside storage of vehicles directly related to the business operations on the property. I put 4 conditions on the approval, that basically that there be no storage of anything other than vehicles which are directly tied to the businesses on the property. The outdoor storage area shall remain inaccessible to the general public, maintained so grass weeds are not growing, and vehicles are stored in an orderly manner. All inoperable vehicles, as well as vehicles which may potentially leak, are stored inside. And all stored vehicles shall remain inside the building or within the fenced-in area. So basically, you don't have junk cars in plain sight, or vehicles that they have, only customer cars are in parking spaces. The staff finds the applicant is in substantial conformance with the criteria outlined in Table 31 for conditional use permits, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Doug. At this time, I'd like to open the floor to the commissioners for questions or concerns.
Is the ordinance fenced in or screened fenced in?
It's fenced with
Slats.
slots, so you can't
So
see
it's
in or out.
screened.
Yeah.
Any additional questions, Mr. Sabota? Commissioner Doherty, do you have any questions at this moment?
Not at this moment.
Excellent, thank you. At this time, I'd like to open the public portion of the meeting. Anyone from the gallery that would like to speak on this matter, please step to the podium. Seeing no movement from the gallery, I will close the public portion of the meeting. Turn it back over to commissioners for additional questions or concerns. If none, I would be looking for a motion.
I don't know about here for a second.
You what?
Everybody throws it that way.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't have a packet with him, so go ahead, Mr. Doherty.
Reference report number Z925, recommend approval with conditional use permit to allow outdoor storage of vehicles directly related to the business operations on the subject property, only subject to the following conditions: 1, 2, 3, and 4. Staff finds the applicant is in conformance with Table 31 of the zoning ordinance.
Thanks, sir. Do I have a second?
I will second the motion.
Oh, thank you, Commissioner Meyer. Appreciate that. Any additional questions or concerns from the commissioners before we call roll? Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Walsh? Yes. Commissioner Doherty?
Yes.
Commissioner Strack?
Yes.
Commissioner Meyer?
Yes.
Commissioner Sabota?
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you, gentlemen. Doug will be in touch.
All right, thanks, guys.
This time, I'd like to close file Z925.
You wouldn't happen to be the petitioner for the Starbucks, would you? No. And you guys are not. Actually, I think he is here. Yep, he is here. He just
Running for security.
Yes, he's running through security.
Excellent.
Doing a lot of beefing.
Should I be worried?
It's all the coffee mugs he's got stashed.
No, I don't think so.
How you guys doing? How you doing?
Just let them stand open.
Fire right now. Twisted Burger.
He's coming in.
Twisted Burger. I love that place.
All right.
Well, hopefully Doug will find him a new location.
Yeah.
No food service. Deed restriction.
Especially burgers.
Yeah, exactly. Big fat deed restriction there.
You can come to the table whenever you're ready, Dave.
Okay.
Do you want
Sorry,
me
I
to
was
go
a little
to
late. I thought it was third on the docket, so usually.
All good. Conceptual design or landscape?
Yeah, start with the site plan. I think is easiest to kind of draw you in. Yeah, that'll be. Yeah, that one exactly. Whoop. Yeah. Perfect.
At this time, I'm going to open file Z923. The applicant is Cornerstone LLC, 3190 Doolittle Drive in Northbrook, Illinois, 60035. The requested action is a conditional use permit to allow a drive-in establishment and outside seating, and no longer a parking variance, correct, Doug?
Yeah, but I would read the request.
Yes, sir. Outside seating and a parking variance from the off-street parking and loading requirements of the property located at 4305 West Elm Street here in McHenry. Again, the location of that subject property is 4305 West Elm here in McHenry. I do have the signed affidavit, the return receipts from the certified mail, and also a publication notice from the Northwest Herald. Are you an attorney, sir?
I am not.
Excellent. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name and address for the record.
David Schwartz of Cornerside LLC, 3190 Doolittle Drive, Northbrook, Illinois, 60032.
Excellent.
62.
Thank you so much. Please tell us why you're here tonight.
I'm here to request, as you guys said, a special use permit for a drive-through as well as a conditional use for outdoor seating. To remodel the existing building, which is currently Twisted Burger, and turn it into a Starbucks coffee. And just by way of a little background, I've been a commercial strip center developer for 4 or 5 years. Done in the past 5 separate Starbucks between multi-tenant and single tenant. And they've actually been looking to get something over here on Route 20 on this part of McHenry for 3 or 4 years that I know of. And we initially had the property next door, which is vacant, under contract, and proposed to do something there, and because of the floodplain and floodway issues, that wasn't viable. So fortunately, this site became available. The seller was looking to sell it. The lease only runs for Twisted Burger another year or so, and so those guys were willing to vacate a little bit early. And by remodeling the existing building and reusing the existing parking lot, we can avoid most of the floodplain and floodway issues that we would have encountered over there backing up to the creek. So we've come up with a plan that functions, very well, and it meets all of Starbucks, national criteria, which is based on, however many thousands of stores they own all over the country and the world, and they really obviously, have their system down in terms of, the placement of the menu boards in relationship to where the drive-through window is, and that allows them to run something very efficiently, and this meets their criteria. And we did a traffic study also by Walt Hamilton, which is a very reputable firm. And they thought that this met the criteria that they've seen also in terms of parking, stacking, and traffic flow as well. So we're gonna gut the building completely on the inside. reclad the outside, new roof, all new mechanicals, new electrical service, new water service. We'll try to reuse the existing sewer, and most of the parking lot.
Great. You ready, Doug?
Yeah, I'm not sure why that's not showing up, but yes, I am ready.
And staff, please give us your report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The request before you is a conditional use permit to allow a drive-in establishment, outside seating and parking variance from the off-street parking and loading requirements at 4305 West Elm Street. In February 2015, a drive-through was proposed at the Starbucks on North Richmond Road, which was originally constructed approximately to 2003. The applicant has a contract to purchase the Twisted Burger building, as he stated, at 4305, remodel, perform exterior and interior alterations, and slight addition as far as outside seating and to accommodate a drive-through for a second Starbucks facility in the city of McHenry. The applicant submitted an application for a conditional use permit for a drive-through, outside seating, and a parking variance. However, when looking at the parking variance, it's 15 spaces per 1,000 square feet for a restaurant with a drive-through, and the applicant didn't take into account they took gross square footage instead of net, and when you take net square footage, they actually have enough parking, so they don't need parking variance. So they're actually just requesting a conditional use for a drive-through and for outdoor seating. Starbucks has been open for many years on North Richmond Road. Recently did a major renovation, which has been a huge success. They are seeking a second facility, as Mr. Schwartz had just had stated. There is a bypass lane, as you can see, south and east of the proposed facility at 4305 West Elm. As well as this site does have a lot of floodplain and floodway. The applicant is not, hence the use of the existing building and the renovation. He's not raising the site substantially at all, merely half foot or for the actual drive-through pad, and really minor just because of that. And then there's some pavement that'll be at the north on the north side of the property, but that I believe is out of the floodplain or floodway. So it's been a challenging site to navigate in terms of the floodplain and floodway because of that, and there's some great issues. The only portion, like I said, is the actual drive, the pad site that's being raised. Staff believes the plan presents an accurate representation of a well-designed circulation. There is a bypass lane. The outside seating's designed very well. This existing access will be used. The applicant did a traffic study. Traffic goes east and south in the morning, so most people will be going right in, right out. It's, of course, making a left out of this site is not ideal. However, if you look at the traffic study, Starbucks knows their business, and they did counts at this location, and the traffic conclusion of the traffic study was that the site would work, so staff is comfortable with that. So at this time, staff's recommending approval of the conditional use permit to allow the driving establishment with outdoor seating at 4305 West Elm. There are several conditions, mostly substantial conformance with the site plan and the building elevations, and the landscape plan that the applicant had submitted, and then some pavement markings so that people can see the escape area, and then also recommending some bullet points that were recommended in the traffic study by G. Walt Hamilton be incorporated in the applicant's design, and that the dumpster enclosure be contained with a screened enclosure, which is typical, and that staff finds that all requirements of table 31 of the zoning ordinance have been met. Now I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Doug. Do you want to work on that for us?
Yeah.
Hopefully that'll.
I was wondering if that boat was reflecting the floodplain or not.
I'm sorry?
The boat and the plane.
The boat that was showing up.
Oh, yeah.
Just click on the picture.
At this time, I'd like to open the floor to questions or concerns from the commissioners.
I just got a question. Patio, where's that gonna be?
Right where, if you're looking at this current elevation, where you can see that little railing just to the left of the door, that's where the outdoor seating is gonna be.
Oh, okay. I was just having trouble seeing it.
Yeah.
Just a couple tables, or?
No, it'll actually be, it's not that accurate. If you look at the site plan, it's reflected a little bit, it's a little
Okay.
easier to see where it is. So, but that's generally where it's
Comparable
going
to the other one?
Yeah, and where it's already an existing
Yeah.
concrete pad,
Right, okay.
Okay.
which we will
Oh, that's right.
redo, but yeah.
Explain it.
Is there curbing around the perimeter, or is it sheet train?
That's actually an interesting question. There's not a curbing on the east and west sides, and then on the south side, there isn't. We're gonna be adding curbing for the drive-through lane, and for the drive aisle, it's gonna be in front of the building, to the north of the building, between the building and Route 120. Whether or not we do it on the sides is, we weren't necessarily going to, but could.
Do you want to have Dorothy come over and give you a hand?
I don't know.
So
What a
this
beautiful
is
location.
high.
Yeah,
I
right.
mean, that location for Starbucks is beautiful.
Yeah.
Any other
Even
questions?
I wouldn't put one there.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
Any other questions or concerns at this time from commissioners? At this time, I'd like to open the public portion of the meeting. If there is anyone in the gallery that would like to speak on this matter, please step to the podium. Again, seeing no movement in the gallery, I will close the public portion of the meeting.
I apologize, if anybody wants to see the drawings, you can
I
come
think
up.
all of the commissioners had them in their packet as well. If anyone from the gallery would like to see them, you're more than welcome to step up and we can hand you a copy.
Yeah, I have a hard copy here.
Perfect. At this time, I would turn it back over to additional questions or concerns from commissioners. Commissioner Doherty, anything for you, sir?
No, I'm good.
Excellent. Commissioner Sabota?
Was it ever considered to have a separate in and out?
Yeah, but IDOT's tricky to deal with, so, we thought it was best to use the existing curb cut.
We looked at several options. It's not easy, the proximity of the light, we even considered using the light.
That was gonna be my suggestion.
Yeah.
The use of it.
Yeah.
It's expense and also engineering, it just was,
It was gonna be prohibitive.
it's not
It was-
feasible.
Yeah.
It's impractical.
Putting in a new entrance of this would cost as much as the whole deal.
Yeah.
It seems like a good use of it, but if. it costs
Yeah,
more,
right,
then
because you
that's-
have the bike path there and,
Correct.
you know, but there is a sidewalk that'll connect it to the bike, that connects it to the bike path.
Might be a safer alternative for in and out. But-
No, but we feel comfortable from a traffic standpoint. I mean, number one, the most critical thing to me is the drive-through lane stacking is very far from the road. So you're not at risk of people backing out onto 120 if you have a really big line for coffee in the morning. And then the way, it's far enough from the light where people can make a left turn and get in and out. And the traffic, you know, they do something that's called the gap study.
Yeah, I've seen
And there was, I mean, like something like 10 times more gaps than they thought
I was
they would need.
surprised it was so low.
Yeah, right.
Only
'Cause
30
there's-
gaps required.
Because there's a lot of traffic, but
Yeah.
yet, if you're there, it doesn't feel like it's hard to make, you know, you can get out of there. It's not like it's backed up like some other streets.
Anything else, Sabota? You all set, sir? Excellent.
I got one more. So the radius of the drive-through there, you checked and double check and triple check that?
Yeah, it
Okay.
might, we actually might have to tweak it a little bit, and we would do that within sort of, you can see that where there's a
It looks
landscape
pretty
island.
strong right now.
Yeah, so you see the sort of just to the east of the drive-through lane, there's some a landscape island. We can cut into that as needed.
Okay.
And make that just steeper or even a
You
retaining
want
wall
a nice
if we had to.
angle, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah. I
And
mean,
then
it's
side
not
lane.
fully engineered, but it will be, but it'll be substantially in accordance with this.
Okay.
Anything else, Commissioner? That's it. Commissioner Meyer?
Good.
Commissioner Walsh? Excellent. If no additional questions or concerns, I'd be looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the conditional use permit to allow drive-in establishment with outdoor seating at 4305 West Elm Street with the following conditions listed. You want me to read them?
4 bullet points is fine, sir.
Following the 4 bullet points listed, and seeing that it meets the requirements in Table 31.
Excellent, thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Walsh, thank you. One last opportunity for questions or concerns. Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Walsh?
Yes.
Commissioner Doherty?
Yes.
Commissioner Strack?
Yes.
Commissioner Meyer?
Yes.
Commissioner Sabota?
Yes.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you for making the trip, sir.
Yeah. Sorry I was a little late.
It's all good.
Thank you guys, appreciate it.
It's all good, thank you.
Thanks.
At this time, I'd like to close file Z923.
Have a good evening.
You too, thank you. Doug, please give us your staff report.
Basically, the next meeting date, I think is April 4th.
At 7.
At 7 o'clock. And then, the next meeting date after that is April 11th at 7:30. So, April 4th will be the, planning, or the, comprehensive plan, and then April 11th, we'll have, a few applications. I don't think anything, was submitted as of yet. I think we expect, by Friday, we will have, 2 or 3, so that's really all I had.
Excellent, thank you, sir.
Now, the 4th meeting is gonna be in the classroom, is that correct?
Oh, yes, thank you. Yes, the April 4th meeting will be in the classroom, and the April 11th meeting, although there will be a committee of the whole meeting for the council, our meeting will be in the council chambers on the 11th.
Okay.
So the committee of the whole will be probably in the classroom, and our meeting will be in here on the 11th. And so, thanks for pointing that out.
And April 4th, 7 o'clock, is that right?
Yes.
Right.
Lots of confusing things.
Yeah.
We're changing rooms, changing times.
Okay.
Excellent. At this time, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Sabota.
Second?
Second from Doherty. Anyone opposed? Meeting adjourned.
Hey,
Thanks for coming, Kelly.
Dorothy, do you get notice when we file our statement of application?
I don't get notice
You don't get
unless
notice.
you tell me, but we really don't have to know. We're doing it as a courtesy.
Why
just to
Right.
make sure
I know.
We just
keep up.
Oh,
You let us know that way, you know.
What do you mean? I like attorneys. I work with them every day.
I just looked at it.
I just didn't want to have to swear him in if he was an attorney. I wasn't sure.
Oh.